The last decade was pretty awesome for cinematic arts. With the advancement in technology, we all witness a great change in cinematic arts. Ultimately, every genre from action to drama has reached a peak in these years. Consequently, a horror genre has also reached at the top, and the last decade is full of some great movies of that category. Therefore, CineWizard has brought to you this video, in which top 10 horror films of last decade will be categorized. And that being said, let's get started. At number 10, we got Oculus.
Hello again. You must be hungry.
Released in 2013, this psychological horror film is directed by Mike Flanagan, starring Callan Gillian and Brendan Thwaites in leading roles. It follows a cursed mirror. The film revolves around the brother and sister who are determined to solve the mystery behind a cursed mirror.
Is to prove that the object behind me is responsible for at least 45 deaths in the 4 centuries of its recorded existence.
With this unusual idea, the film was a commercial hit across the globe. It managed to gross over $44 million against a budget of $5 million.
Mom?
Despite being a massive commercial hit, it received negative reviews from the critics.
He called in? Yeah, he called 911. Then he did this.
At number 9, we got Halloween.
We're here to investigate a patient that killed 3 innocent teenagers on a Halloween in 1978.
This is a direct sequel to the 1978 Halloween film. Set after 40 years, Laurie Strode and Michael Myers finally returned to this horror film.
Hello, Michael. I have something you might like to see.
Its story follows Michael Myers, a serial killer and psychopath who escapes from his detention and returns to kill Laurie. But Laurie, with help from her daughter and granddaughter, stops him again. It was directed by David Croton Green, who did an amazing direction of this classic horror film. Like the first part, Jamie Lee Curtis and Nick Castle reprised their roles in it. It was met with positive reviews from critics and grossed over $255.6 million. 2 more sequels are planned to release, which will be based on the same story. At number 8, we got A Train to Busan. Korean horror or K-horror has gained a huge fan base since the 2000s. In 2016, A Train to Busan was released, which is a definitive proof that Korean cinema has grown so much. Directed by Yoon San-ho, this action horror film broke many records in South Korea. Its plot is based on a duo of father and daughter who are riding a train from Seoul to Busan. On their way home, they are caught in a zombie outbreak, and they must find their way home. It stars Gong Yoo and Kim Soo-an in leading roles. It gained worldwide popularity for its horror theme and action sequence. At number 7, we got It.
Till it's too late.
A clown doesn't need to be funny. Sometimes there are clowns, like Pennywise, who love to eat little children. Adapted from Stephen King's novel of the same name, it was directed by Andy Muschietti, and its screenplay was written by Gary Dauberman.
That all the bad things that happen in this town are because of one thing. An evil thing.
Its story follows a group of 7 children who are being haunted by an evil clown, Pennywise. It stars Bill Skarsgård in the title role of Muttering Clown. It was a huge commercial success and earned more than $701.8 million in profits. A sequel was released in 2019, but it was not as successful as compared to this part. At number 6, we got Insidious Chapter 1.
Hey, sweetie.
Morning, guys.
Making horror movies in these days is not an easy task. People want to see more than cliches and jump scares. That's why this film is one of its kind. James Wan, who has a deep interest in the horror genre, developed this movie. It stars Patrick Wilson, Rose Byrne, and Lynn Shay in leading roles. It tells the story of a young boy who is caught in astral travel while his body is comatose. The demonic spirits are trying to take over his body and he needs to be saved.
There was something in there with him.
Made with a budget of only $1.5 million, it earned $99.5 million in profits. Its success spawned a franchise of the same name from 2010 to 2018. At number 5, we got Annabelle.
Is everything all right? Oh my God, you're covered in blood.
Go back inside. It's not mine. It's not. Go back inside and call an ambulance right now.
Released in 2014, this supernatural horror movie spread fear with its haunted doll. It is a prequel to Conjuring and second installment in the Conjuring saga. Written by Gary Doberman, this film is based on a real-life haunted doll, Annabelle.
Your soul.
Although its story and characters are fictional, but the central focus is Annabelle, which exists in real. Its story revolves around a couple who bought Annabelle for her daughter. Soon their life becomes miserable because of paranormal activities started by the possessed doll. It stars Patrick Wilson and Annabelle Wallis in leading roles. It received mixed reviews but became a financial hit at the box office.
I can't explain.
We should talk to someone.
I don't think what you're experiencing is a ghost.
At number 4, we got Sinister. This film is a perfect nightmare for horror lovers. Based on mythology, this supernatural horror film has a really terrifying stuff for viewers. Directed by Scott Derrickson, it stars Ethan Hawke in the leading role with James Ranson in the supporting role. This film follows a true crime writer who moves into a new home with his family. There he discovers some gruesome murder videos, which put him and his family in danger. Critics praised its story, character development, and direction.
I've never been onto something this big before.
It earned $87.7 million against a budget of $3 million.
You gotta be kidding me. Family hanging out, barbecues. Lived here.
At number 3, we got Conjuring. Inspired by true events of real-life paranormal investigators, this film is the first chapter of Conjuring universe. It is based on encounters of Ed and Lorraine Warren, the famous demonologists of America. Its story is based on a family who is facing paranormal activities in their new home. They call Ed and Lorraine to investigate and to get rid of the evil spirit which is haunting them.
Somebody, goddammit, tell me what's going on here!
It is directed by James Wan and features Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson in title roles. It was a critical and commercial hit across the globe. At number 2, we got Hereditary.
Gonna take care of me.
You don't think I'm gonna take care of you?
But when you die,
Ari Aster is a newcomer whose splendid work in the horror genre is top-notch. He gained worldwide acclaim for directing and writing this supernatural psychological horror film. This film was released in 2018, starring Toni Collette, Gabriel Byrne, and Alex Wolff in leading roles. Its story follows a Graham family who is cursed and involved in a satanic cult. It received positive reviews from its screenplay and direction.
Sometimes I swear I can feel them in the room.
Some critics called it the best film of 2018 and one of the best horror films of the last decade. At number 1, we got Get Out.
Bougie, man. Come back, get your damn pants up to your damn stomach.
The number 1 entry for today's countdown is Get Out, a horror film that gives viewers goosebumps and chills all along with the story.
We hired Georgina and Walter to help care for my parents. When they died, I couldn't bear to let them go.
In his directional debut, Jordan Peele wrote and directed this wonderful horror film. Its story follows a young black man who visits his white girlfriend's family in New York. Upon his stay there, he discovers a horrifying secret that puts him in a grave danger. It stars Daniel Kaluuya, Catherine Keener, and Bradley Whitford in leading roles.
It's a terrible thing to waste. Terrible thing to waste.
It was a huge critical and commercial success upon its release. It was nominated in 4 categories of Academy Awards and won for Best Screenplay. It is considered the best horror film of the last decade due to its plot, acting, and direction.
No. No. No.
It was today's list of top horror films from last decade. Tell us which film we miss here. If you like this video, then subscribe the CineWizard for more amazing content.